Hi guys, I haven't been on in a while. I thought I would start documenting my journey with me and my husband, who is a narcissist. And so we just got back from Dr. Hawkins Marriage Recovery Center in Seattle, a marriage intensive this past 4 days. And I got some really good takeaways, and I wanted to share those with everyone in case you guys are in any sort of emotionally abusive, narcissistic type of relationship. I've got like some really good stuff. So the first thing is it talks about, that I think is important, is it talks about your core self. And I'm going to try to have links to all of these diagrams too for you guys. So this is the first thing, and it's the core self. And I'm sorry. Okay, do you guys see my cat? She's driving me crazy, you guys. She bites me and she's just a pain, but I love her because look at her. How could you not? How could you not love this fluffy thing? But she nips at me. Does your cat nip at you? Okay, sorry. Back to core self. All right, so core self, what this is about is never, ever, ever engage in a conversation with someone who is up in their protective courtroom. So the second someone shifts, Dr. Hawkins calls it a shift, into angry, defensive withdrawal, you're self-righteous, you're blaming, you're case building, you're shaming, you're provocative, you're accusatory, cut off all communication. And his thing is, we can talk about anything at any time, but not in any way. So the only time you want to have a conversation with another person is when you are both in what he calls core self, which is calm, clear, curious, connected, caring, collaborative, convicted. So when you are in that core self, that's when you can have a conversation with another person. So that's boundary number one, which we talk about boundaries too. Don't ever engage. Get used to it, especially with a narcissist. Say, we can talk about anything at any time, but not in any way. For my husband, I feel like he lives in the courtroom. He lives in the courtroom. He lives in what they call thinking errors, denial, don't even know I'm lying to myself. Whew. Yeah, so I'm getting really good at just telling him we can talk about anything at any time, but not in any way. And I do not engage. I don't know if you guys have heard about narcissists, and they have these hooks they try to hook you with and drag you into a conversation. Next thing I want to tell you is that my husband's been doing that all night to me. He's trying to hook me and drag me into these conversations. And we watched a video. Marshall Rosenberg is all about nonviolent communication, and it talks about when someone's yelling at you. And I'll try to put in the link to that video too. It's a really good video to watch. It talks about someone yelling at him, calling him a murderer, and he tries to address the need or the feelings that the man has underneath all of that. So I'm also trying that. So I'm telling my husband, I'm not going to talk to you, but then I'm also, if I do talk to him, I'm not hooking, I'm asking him, or I'm trying to say, I sense that you're upset, you're frustrated, and this stems from a need of, in this situation, he was frustrated that we weren't hanging out. So it was like a need for connection and a need to be understood. And so, which brings me to my next thing that is super important. Okay, so sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place, but core self. You got to learn too to stay in your core self and do not talk in your courtroom. So never ever try to justify yourself. Never ever try to case build, prove your point. Have you guys ever heard you can be right or you can be happy, but you can't be both? It's not about being right. Sometimes, yeah, you might be right. Doesn't need to be said. That's a huge lesson I just had to learn this past 4 weeks. It's not about being right. It's about feelings. It's about being calm, being curious, and being connected. Feelings. It's about feelings and needs. It's not about being right. Stop justifying yourself. They don't care. It's not going to work. It's not going to get you anywhere. Okay. Next thing is feelings. Feelings. That's what communication is all about. Stick to feelings. Stick to feelings. That's what I am. I'll let you know how it's going. This is beginning of our journey. So I'm just starting different stuff, But I love this feelings wheel. You can get it online. Again, I'll try to get links down for everything, but this is feelings wheel. Get very, very good and aware of what you're feeling and try to see what they're feeling. Anytime if you do want to talk to them, try to talk about their feelings. Words that are not feelings. This is really, I love this one too with it that has this, because when you might feel, I know I used to say I feel abandoned. It's not a feeling, and it's a judgment. And it made me be victimized myself. It was like I just realized this today, like, oh my goodness. But when I put a real feeling with it, then I could change it. I could own it and I could change it and like not be a victim anymore to these not feeling words. Betrayed, bullied, abused. Abused is not a feeling. A feeling is you might feel hurt by being abused. And that's, you can own the hurt. But if you say I feel abused, that's not, you can't own it. It's like you stay in this victim mentality, which I just did this today. Like I had this victim mentality. I didn't even know I was doing this. So abused is not a feeling, but feeling hurt is a feeling. And then you can own that hurt, which is super cool. It just, your perspective just completely changes. Next thing is, after feelings is needs. And I was like, what is the difference between needs? And what it is you have negative feelings stem from unmet needs. And so the Center for Nonviolent Communication has a great needs list. And so I would look these up so that way you know exactly how you're feeling and what is the need that you need out of that situation. And these are really good. Connection, physical well-being, play, joy, humor, honesty, authenticity, like so good, so good. So I'm going to try to put links to everything down below. So get really good at when you do engage in conversation, try to ask what are they feeling and what are their needs. And if they're in the courtroom, cut off all communication. So we can talk about anything in any way, but no, anything, any time, but not in any way, not in any way. No accusing. Okay, what else did we, boundaries, that's the next one. So again, boundaries are clear, concise things of how you will accept to be treated and with clear, concise consequences if people do not follow through. So like for me, I must feel loved, respected, and safe 24/7. And if I do not feel that, I will leave the situation. I will not engage. I will just walk away. So boundaries is huge. You can talk to me about anything, anytime, but not in any way. If you choose to go into the courtroom, I'm not engaging, cutting off communication until we're back into both of our core self. That was huge, huge, huge. So that is where I am at right now. I am also, what I'm trying to work on personally is like wound healing. And so feeling trying to be aware of my feelings, trying to see what needs are missing, and just kind of talking through that and going through it. So yeah, so it's a journey. I just got back, like I said, from a 4-day marriage intensive. I learned a lot of stuff. Oh, and then when you do talk, Google like a V diagram. It's really good. That's what, when you do end up talking, that's what the communication is going to be. It's going to be about a feeling, a need, and a specific positive request. This is so good. The positive request is really good because what I learned is that they don't know what's expected. My husband had said during the thing, he's like, I will not be angry. And I was like, okay, but what will you be? And that's really good to ask them, because do you see the responsibility in that? And do you see that they don't know, well, what is the opposite of not being angry? You know, and I said, is it loving? And he was like, nope, not going to do that. See? So you have to get them to think about, well, what is the opposite then of angry to you? And someone had said kind, and he said, okay, I can be kind. So he agreed that instead of being angry towards me, when things didn't go his way and things were wrong, he was going to be kind to me, which I think is huge. That's why that specific positive request is so huge, because then it's like they know what's to be expected, not just what they're not going to do. They know what they are actually going to do. That's huge, right? And then when you get into this, it always starts with, can I talk with you? Because again, do not engage with a man or a woman on fire. Just don't. Don't even do it. Don't defend yourself. Don't justify yourself. Get out of the case building the safe self-righteousness. We're all about feelings now if you want a healthy, emotionally healthy relationship. Okay, so they say, can I be with you? Yep. Okay, you tell them what your feeling is, what the need is, and a specific positive request. The next person, what they're going to do is they're going to empathize with you. Empathize, and there's some really good sentences to start with. I can understand how that would hurt you. Anybody would feel hurt by a situation like that. It's true that that's the accountability. Love this, the personal accountability. It's true that I did say blah, blah, blah. I love that. It's huge. And knowing you, I can imagine how bad that would have hurt you when I said that. That is like such huge, these are wonderful sentences to teach someone how to empathize that doesn't know how to empathy. I am terrible at empathy as well, so I love doing this. I'm going to do it with my kids, actually. Then you check in. You ask the person, do you feel like you were heard? Do you feel like I empathized with you? Do you feel like I took accountability for it? And usually what happens is when you start saying this, you start apologizing. It just naturally comes. Like when you start using this, you're like, and you know what, I'm sorry I said that. I can understand, I can see how that hurt you, and I'm really sorry. It just naturally happens, which is great, because then it's not a forced apology or a faker. It's a genuine apology. Then it switches. So the person that asks for the feel and the need now becomes the other person. If someone has, so on the same subject, if you're like, do you have any feelings about this? And then they say, yeah, I've got some feelings too. And then they go through, it's exactly the same thing though. The feel, the need, and then positive request. And then the other person empathizes, validates, and responds to it. And then what happens is you're supposed to come up with sacred agreements, like the specific positive request is going to become like your sacred agreement of, when we are engaging in conversation, I'm asking you not to talk to me in that tone or say those words to me. And then the person says, I agree. And you write it down. So then when that specific positive request or when that sacred agreement is broken, then the relationship, you are not in fellowship with that person anymore. That person is cut off because they broke a sacred agreement until you do like a V and you talk about it, and until they make amends by the 3 A's: apologize, accept responsibility, and make amends. It's pretty cool. Really good way to have relationships with anyone, and especially with a narcissist. So like I said, right now, all I'm doing with my husband, I'll let you know, I'll keep you guys updated, is anything he says to me, I'm either not engaging, saying you can talk to me in any way, and not in any way. Oh my goodness. Talk about anything, anytime, but not in any way. And and if I do engage, I'm trying to stick to, well, how do you feel? You're safe. You can tell me how you feel. And don't respond bad. If he says he feels sad, like let him be sad. If he says he's angry, let him be angry. Like don't, I even told my husband, I said, I promise I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to attack you for your feelings. Like your feelings are your feelings, but make sure, this is why it's really good. Get out have the list of feelings so that way because there's a lot of things that we think are feelings that I thought were feelings that are not feelings. So it's really like important to have feelings and needs. And yeah, this V diagram and this feeling, I love this feeling, so I just like it. Okay. Oh, and Marshall Rosenberg, nonviolent communication. I'll try to see if I can put his thing as well. He has a great video on this about how people are calling him names, and he goes straight to the feeling and the needs that they have, and it just completely makes sense. Okay, I think that is it for now. Yeah, thanks for watching. Wish me luck. I will keep you posted on how my journey with a narcissist goes. Bye.